Mr. Beer, thank you for your comments. We're going to move to the Q&A portion, and I'm going to yield 5 minutes to start us off. And I just want to respond to some of your comments because I believe in free people, free markets, and free and sovereign states. Freedom without security is complete anarchy. Freedom without rule of law is chaos. And so there are things we can do, and I agree with you. There are places that are broken that should be fixed within the immigration framework in our laws, and there's no doubt there are ways to do that even on a bipartisan basis. But when the President of the United States in his first day repeals and rescinds Remain in Mexico and interior enforcement and holding sanctuary cities accountable for enabling illegal immigration, when that happens on day one and then 93 other executive actions within the first 100 days to unravel the programs that were effective in reducing illegal immigration and effectively securing our border, that looks like a willful and intentional act to create chaos. So yes, there are ways to fix the current system, but I can't accept the fact that the President of the United States, through this Section 212F, which is the broadest of authorities I know of, it says, if you, Mr. President, think this is in the interest of the United States to turn anyone around for any reason, you can do that.
Can I ask, where do we go from here?
Well, where we go,
where we reform the system, where do we go from here?
Where we start is to do that which we can with the authority and tools we have. And we saw very clearly in the last administration, where there's a will, there's a way. Doesn't mean it's perfect, doesn't mean there aren't things to fix, but you can't have, in the last month of the Trump administration, 1,000 a day, and then this last December, 10,000 a day of people coming across illegally. To your point, if people think they can come illegally, they will come. Just this week, President Biden and the administration rolled out a rule to give $9 billion worth of health care to people here illegally. You get what you reward. You're an expert on free markets. Incentives drive behavior. We are putting incentives out there intentionally that are creating this, and there's a cost to society, especially, and more so than the financial cost, all of the folks on the terrorist watch list, all of the drugs, all of the crime and criminals. We're not vetting this. It's pouring into our communities, and it's devastating. We need freedom, but we need rule of law alongside of it, or we lose the peace and tranquility we promise in the Constitution.
Well, we can have both, right? We can have both. We don't have to choose between security and a legal immigration system that works. We don't have to choose.
You're right.
They're compatible. In fact, they complement each other.
Yet
if we have a legal immigration system that works, then there's going to be fewer people crossing, so Border Patrol's freed up to interdict people.
Do you think the President is doing everything he can to create order and law and at the border? And do you think he's doing everything within his power to make sure we have, seamlessness at the border with respect to immigration? Do you think he's doing everything he can?
I mean, all I can say is he's deported a lot of people, far more people. Even as a percentage of the people who arrived, he deported more in his first 2 years than the other administration did in its last 2 years.
Let me move on.
He's deported a lot of people. I don't think that's the answer. We got to get back to legal immigration.
To me, it's intellectually dishonest to me to sidestep a very simple question. Is this president doing everything he can with the tools that he has, recognizing there are things that we need to do?
There are other values at stake.
I think
there are other values at stake. He could separate children like the last administration did. Yes, he could do that. He shouldn't do that.
Mr. Smith, the deluge of crime coming across the border. Well, you know what, Mr. Blair, you were a Border Patrol officer. Is this just a natural ebb and flow, like my ranking member suggested, just a surge, a seasonal surge? Or is it?
Just to clarify, since quoting me, I didn't say seasonal surge. I mean, this is obviously beyond a season. I mean, we have a unique problem, 3 countries that have tremendous problems, the Triangle countries in Central America, that are causing a large part of this. But what I did say is this started a couple decades ago. This has not just started the last couple of years.
Okay, let me take off then on that, and I don't want to mischaracterize you. Is this something that's been going on for, when I say this, and this is my last question, what we're experiencing now with the record flow of migrants, the record flow of drugs, record migrant deaths, record people on terrorist watches, is that something that's been going on, as the ranking member suggests, for a decade or so, or is this a recent phenomenon as a result of this administration's either policies, lack of leadership, et cetera, willful or not? Is this a longer tail, or is this something as a consequence of the current administration's policies?
Sure. To give you an example, let's look at the Venezuelan issue. So Venezuelans in 2017, we had roughly 2,600 encounters. And then fast forward to 2023, we had 334,000 encounters. Now you look at that, about 8 million people have fled Venezuela because of Hugo Chavez before, and then also Maduro, right? And so at first they were starting to go to South American countries, but it wasn't until the current administration's policies and procedures that allowed this to actually happen, and that invited all the foreign nationals from South America, regardless of what country of origin, to our southern border. So you can see the numbers or the data right there to show that this is not a natural occurrence. This is all by design, and it's all been done through policies through this administration.
I thank the gentleman, and now yield 5 minutes to my ranking member, Mr. Boyle.